Hey y'all, thanks for stopping by the fly through of LL Stub Stewart Park for the Slosh 6 happening on May 15th, 2021. As you can see here, we got some drone coverage today to help us get a good overview of the tournament and hole layout. To start off, you can see the parking lot here with the beautiful backdrop of trees that contain the contents of the course, and I've marked the locations here of Tournament Central and the entrance that takes you to Hole 1. Hole 1 is in the B placement, so we're going to go ahead and see the first line here. It goes straight and then a little to the left at the end, so if you look to the left you can see it kind of going downhill a little bit. You definitely want to stay out of the left side. You kind of want to go down the middle, but try not to go on the left. It can get steeper pretty quick there, and it is a pretty easy green. Just don't go long and then have a death putt coming back. So hole 2 is in the B placement, and you can see the line here. Have a little patience with my initial lines here. I'm still getting used to the video software, but basically straight down, pretty easy, same as last hole. Try to stay out of the left, but of course stay in the middle if possible. It does go a little downhill, but for the most part the green is pretty simple. And on to hole 3, which is in the B placement here. You can see it is around 375 feet, and the line goes up and to the right. Definitely still steep on the left side, so make sure that you kind of don't have anything that tails out for a righty. Throwing a backhand, it can go down the hill pretty quickly, so if you can throw a flick just to be safe, that's generally good. If you can't, just try to stay low or maybe kind of throw a hard turnover. But it keeps kind of going down here, so realistically you want to get a good placement shot, good layup. This is a really good 3 if you can get it. It's a very difficult 2. The green is pretty simple, nothing too crazy, no hills around it. And off to hole 4 here, which is in the A placement, which is the shorter one. So still you have to get used to my drone skills. I'm still a little new with it, but yeah, you can see it's a pretty short one down the hill. It kind of goes a little right slanted, but realistically, you just want to get as far as you can down the hill without hitting trees on this. If you hit early, it's going to be difficult because you got that steep hill behind it. Obviously, going to the green, it is steep behind it, so if you can end up behind it and be putting back up at it, you're going to be in a better position. So on to hole 5, which is in the B position. So you can kind of see it goes up and to the right there. It gets pretty thick on both sides, so you kind of want to stay down the middle. There's not a lot of penalty if you do go left or right. Obviously, going left is going to be more, foliage in front of you than if you end up right. But getting up to the green here, it's pretty safe and easy. So shouldn't be too hard of a hole, but at the same time, you hit those trees early and it's going to hurt. And on to hole 6, which is in the B position. So you can see here it goes pretty much straight ahead, lots of trees, but it's pretty straightforward. Same rules as before. Don't hit anything early because it's gonna hurt. But just kind of uphill, so you want to make sure to kind of get a higher angle on it. I know that's always kind of difficult for me to do, to remember, is to kind of stay up on it. But you probably want to, you can totally run it, but if you run it too hard, you don't want to have that death putt coming back down the hill. And on to hole 7 in the A position. Kind of feel like this is one of the landmark holes of the course, kind of downhill, which a lot of landmark holes I guess are. But as you can see, it's pretty open down the center of the fairway. You don't want to go left or right. I feel like left can get a little hairier, but it's just good to stay in the middle if you possibly can. I feel like it's easy to throw high on this hole, so kind of trying to throw it with a slight downward angle. Not too much, obviously you want to get enough loft to get it there. So really kind of fun, kind of technical hole here. Once you get to the green, as you can see, pretty easy. So on to the next hole, which is hole number 8 in the A position, a little shorty. So you just same deal, stay in the center of the fairway here. It's kind of one of those that you want to get a 2 on in the short here. So yeah, just don't hit trees early. Kind of just give it a, for a righty, just kind of maybe like a rock with like a little hyzer flip tail out at the end. So it goes up a little bit, so you kind of want to stay early. You don't want to go too far. If you go too far past it, you get a bit of a death putt coming back. But all in all, pretty straightforward. And on to hole 9. So this one is going to be in the short position. Another kind of downhill one, pretty fun. You want to stay down the center. It kind of goes a little to the left, so for the righty, it's a similar thing as the last hole, maybe with a rock. You don't want to blast past it too far, because if you do, it is a uphill putt, but it can get a little weird. This short placement is not quite as difficult as the right, kind of nestled in down there to the right. But on to hole 10. Is in the A position, a little bit shorter. So this one goes uphill, so it looks short, but it actually flies a little longer than you think it's gonna. So obviously you want to stay down the center. It slightly goes to the right there. In the long position, it is much more difficult, so it's nice that it is in the short here for the tournament. And you can kind of see on the left side, it kind of evens out. So if you do stay a little bit more left, it kind of enables you go a little bit further and shoot up at it. Obviously, coming from the top, going down, makes putting closer a little bit scarier. So on to hole 11, you can see the long placement right there. It's a little bit of a walk here, and we have hole number 11 in the 8 position. Goes a little downhill, kind of a dog leg to the left here. So righty, you kind of want to go straight, but then maybe have something overstable that turns left at the end pretty quickly here. It does continue to go downhill, so obviously, if you can throw your drive a little past it, you have that nice uphill putt. But if you get a little short, it's nice to lay up. You keep going long, and especially if you get a little bit of a rollaway, that can hurt. But on to the next hole, which is hole 12. And it is kind of a poster child of this course as well. I know from people who've played it, it's crazy. It's kind of tough because you go straight, but then you just cut hard right for a long ways, and you pretty much got to stay straight with that decline. If you go long, it's tough. If you go short, it's tough. So really try to stay in the center as much as you can. Obviously, you see here there's kind of a landing zone there on the left it kind of gives you a bit of a shot, but realistically you want to get down there pretty far in a relatively open area to set yourself up for the next shot here. Once you do get to the green, it is not too bad. So you get there. By the way, I believe this is the A position. I don't see where the B is. I haven't played this course enough to know. But on to hole 13, which is in the A position. This also can be a really tough hole. A position is not quite as bad, but you can kind of see the path here. It goes up and then to the right. It is slightly uphill, but not too bad for the righty. You can kind of throw a high turnover. If you end kind of a little far, try to hang right. You can kind of set yourself up for the next shot. Some people do try to go down the right side. There's a lot of trees, and if you hit something early, it can be tough. Once you do get to the green, it is not too bad. And on to the next hole. which is hole number 14 in the A position. Lucky for everybody playing it because 14 short is long, 14 long is longer. So you can kind of see here with the path, it kind of squiggles, goes right, left, and then right again. So you want to kind of just get your first drive as far as you can down here. If you can end to the left in the fairway, you can really set yourself up for a nice next shot. Good thing this is a par 4, so you can really set up your shot. You know, trying to get par here is really good. If you do get a birdie, it is feeling pretty good. But once you do get to the hole here, you can see not too bad of a green. And on to the next one, which is hole number 15 in the A position. And it is going to take just a second for us to get there, and you can see the line, which is pretty slim, and it's actually kind of nice for maybe a righty that can get like that nice turnover fade out. So you can kind of get around some of the trees there. It is a little sticky, but you know, a little luck, and you should get there pretty well. Not too bad of a green, obviously. If you run past it, coming back might be difficult. And on to hole number 16, which is a bit of a nefarious hole. And, you know, we've been pretty chill on the hole placements, just, you know, to keep holes running pretty quick. But this could be a bit of a bottleneck. This is in the long position, and it is quite long. So as you can see here, pretty slim fairway the whole way. You want to stay real close to the fairway. If you get right or left, it will get hairy, and you got a long way to go. So do your best to stay in the middle. We all you know, make mistakes, especially in tournaments. So maybe having your you know, forehand roller game on pretty tight would be good. But with the forehand rollers, they can kind of roll off erroneously, so when you do get in trouble, it might just be good to get out to the center, take your stroke, and get to that hole. You know, this hole in 4 is tough, not gonna lie. Once you get there, not too bad. Which brings us to our next hole, and second to last hole. It's kind of nice, kind of a little reprieve from the last hole, but it's still kind of iconic in such a weird way, because if you look here, as soon as the camera turns, you kind of have this tree, a couple of trees like right in front of you, right down the line where you want to go. So if you see the line, you kind of want to just slip past that tree right in the middle, and then start going left. It's not too bad for a righty if you can kind of get out to this middle area with a high hyzer and have it go, you know, fade out for you. But all in all, yeah, you just want to miss everything. You know, that's the thing about wooded courses, is sometimes you're just going to have to avoid trees. This is definitely one of those holes, but it can be a 2 if you play it right. Which brings us to 18, our final hole, which is going to be in the B position. Wouldn't have it any other way. Finish it off with a bang here. You can kind of see it's an interesting hole. It's a pretty slim fairway. You kind of want to stay in the middle. Kind of for a righty, want something that stays straight. If you hyzer off too early, you'll get into those thicket of trees there on the left. So just try to stay in the center. You know, get it down ideally right in this area on your drive, take your upshot, get your 3. Obviously, if you go past the basket, you're going to have a tough time coming back. So that is your 18 holes. I appreciate you guys coming by to check out the tournament. I really hope you guys are able to make it out. We still have a lot of openings for this tournament if it hasn't happened yet. So go to Disc Golf Scene and look for Stumptown Slosh number 6. And I really hope we see you there. Thanks, and talk to you later.